Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earl Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earl Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earl Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union.
By Dive Shop and Dive Ventures nationwide. Jim Harris Chevrolet with George Gully. For Memphis Magazine, the Live at the Garden concert series, and the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis, and by Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, family owned and operated for more than 40 years, and brought to you by High-Low Commercial Services. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel, with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earl Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome to Lansky's, and a nice spring day, except it's not very spring-like. It's like the North Pole out there, but it is supposed to be improving, and I'm looking forward to that. Joining me today is Randy Wright with the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures, and I thought we would talk a little bit about warm weather.
Yeah.
And first, in New Orleans, you were there for Mardi Gras, and the weather looked like it was pretty good there.
The weather was perfect for what we were doing. You know, we were up at midnight and got down to the little gathering spot, had breakfast, and everybody got into costume and got their makeup done and all that kind of stuff. And we got on the float at about 4:30 in the morning, and we were riding in the parade with the crew of Zulu. They roll first on Mardi Gras Day. And then you have Rex that comes just after that. There's only 3 big parades on Mardi Gras Day, and it's the 3 largest crews down there.
Now, how many people would be in a crew?
There were, 36 floats, and some of those floats were single pull, some were double pull, like ours. We had 2 floats behind the tractor. It was pretty amazing. There are thousands of people involved.
And it goes on all the way through Mardi Gras, from the very beginning, and all these different floats. I saw a big Elvis parade. Everybody on scooters wearing Elvis wigs and sunglasses.
Dog parades, women's parades. Every little special group has their own get-together. There's tons of different crews for, like, the really big crews, the big social groups, and then there's people that just get together at Mardi Gras and parade.
And you grew up in that area around Baton Rouge?
Sure.
And so you've grown up around this. And I know you've gone many years, or most of your life, but not everybody gets to be in a crew riding a float. That's a very big deal.
Especially on Mardi Gras Day. Our friend Dennis Linehan, who's been in the crew of Zulu now for about 17 years, was elected governor this year. So the floats that we were on were the governor's floats. He and the governess, whose father, by the way, is the bass player in the Meters. She was. They're all dressed up, the big headdresses and everything. They're on the front of the first float, and we were on the first float with Dennis. And then beyond that, we had another float behind us with another 30 or so folks on it. So.
For those of us who didn't grow up in New Orleans or Louisiana and not really familiar with it, other than we know it's a big time and it's every year.
Yeah.
And people spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Who contributes to the effort? Is it everybody that's invited to be a part of the crew?
Everybody, yeah. I mean, we're not crew members, so we were brought in from the outside at the invitation of the governor. And a lot of the people on the float were in the same thing. Dennis had friends from Chicago that were down. His parents were there, all kinds of different people that were involved in it. But, yeah, you pay to ride, okay? And that helps cover the production of the float and so forth like that, because those are all done professionally. And then it covers your costuming and all the other things that are prepared. And then you actually purchase the throws.
All the
beads and all the stuff that we're throwing, we actually bought those. Marcia and I hand-painted 150 Zulu coconuts. The big thing for the crew of Zulu is the coconut. It's one.
And these are real coconuts.
These are real coconuts. It's just the hull, just the shell.
So do you drill a hole in it and drain it?
They came painted gold or black.
Okay.
And they're very light. They're hollow. Each one we wrap in a little cellophane wrapper to keep the paint, whatever we painted on the side of it. And it's things like Governor's Crew 2026, things like that make that particular year and gift stand out. And it is one of the most coveted throws in the whole world of Mardi Gras is to get a Zulu coconut.
I do know that when I've been there, it doesn't matter what time of year, you still see throws hanging from trees and off of balconies.
Yeah.
I mean, they never go away. We've got some video here I'm going to roll that you shot. That's just kind of an idea. All the people out there, and I've seen it from the ground showing this.
Yeah.
But watching it and the music, you crank it up. I mean, they know you're coming and you're there.
Yeah, we were standing right next to a 15-inch woofer with a big horn on the top of it. So that was actually about real volume experience right there.
And there's some of the throws there. In a second, we'll go to another video that really kind of shows the close up what these throws are like. There, we need the audio here because it's loud.
Yeah, but this is just to give you an idea. Beads, of course, are the big thing, but if you look behind these folks, there's purses, there's toys, there's every other thing in the world. Now, this is getting back into our beads, Marcia and I, what we had. Some are very fancy and distinctive. Others are, your basic.
How do you decide? There's a coconut right there. How do you decide whether you throw a coconut to somebody or just some beads?
Well, it's kind of as you go along. The coconuts are coveted, and this is the only parade that I'm aware of where people come right up to the floats because we can't throw the coconuts.
Yeah, because
you have to hand them to people. And so people will climb over the barricades and they come right up to the floats. You'll be riding along and some little kid sitting on his father's shoulders is all of a sudden right at eye level with you. And you actually choose people. I look for people to give, eye contact and to have some personal little bit of understanding that, hey, this is for you. Thanks for being out here and supporting the parade and being a part of what we're doing today.
You were saying that you got there what time in the morning?
We got to the gathering point at midnight, just after midnight on Monday night. We had breakfast and then hung around, and you go through the costuming. The costume is everything's prescribed. We had to have gold.
And these are professional makeup people applying the makeup?
Yes, we have professional artists doing the makeup.
So everybody looks exactly the way you're supposed to.
Yes.
There's no freelancing going on here.
No, and it's, the Crew of Zulu, a little bit controversial on that. Y'all need to go out and have a look at this. The Crew of Zulu is the only majority African-American crew in any of the Mardi Gras stuff that goes on. They've been around since the early 1900s. And it's a very, very special group of guys. It is a men's benevolent association, if you will. Women have come a long way in the last 20 years or so, like they have, and rightfully so, everywhere. But they spend most of the time raising money to improve the lives of children in the greater New Orleans area. They have a big drive in the fall where they give away bicycles, hundreds of bicycles. They do all kinds of things for the kids, and they have several social events during the year that are fundraisers to help fund what's going on at Mardi Gras. Each one of the characters, you've got the governor, you've got Mr. Big Stuff, Mr. Big Shot, the king of the crew, the voodoo doctor. There's about 15 different characters that have sub-crews. So the sub-crews are kind of in competition at all these different events that they do to move themselves up in the crew. Yeah. And the governor thing is elected by the membership. So it's a big deal for Dennis to have been elected governor. As one of the other governors, previous governors said, the best day of your life is the day that you get on this float as the governor of the crew of Zulu, and the second best day is the day after, when you no longer have to worry about it.
Because it really is kind of a year in the making.
It is.
And the same thing happens in Memphis with the Cotton Carnival.
Right.
And they have all these fundraisers, and they really do a lot of good. I know that when I was with the sheriff's office, every Christmas, we would pull people over in traffic, our deputies, and like for a traffic offense. I think your tail light has got a crack in it, something, and they go, "Oh, I didn't know that." And they say, "Do you have kids? Are you getting ready for Christmas?" They go, "Yeah, I've got 3 kids." He goes, "Where do you think you're going to get them?" And had them on a wireless mic. And
right.
So they didn't know they were being photographed by the TV news stations. And then, and so while they keep talking to them, the guys on the fire truck, all dressed up in their costumes, would go to Walmart right there, get the toys they wanted, whether it was a PlayStation or whatever it was. He said, "That's what I'd like to get them, but I don't think that's going to happen this year." All of a sudden, they roll up in the fire truck, and
hand the prize over.
All the exact things that they wanted. It's very moving.
It is.
And watching the people that think, "I can't get my kid what they need or what they want," and all of a sudden, boom, and they spend $100,000 a year on toys for kids that
Sure.
to get them what they want, not just, no kid wants socks or a tie for their Christmas present.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff and it's a lot, kids stuff is expensive now. It's not like when we were kids.
And this is very much the same thing. They do fundraisers and then they go out and do things like that. They get the Santa wish list and they get those things that the kids really want.
But there's also, it's a huge party. And after it's over, do you go to this big place and everybody kind of, that's where the floats stop?
Actually, it's happened before that. Once the parade ended, people kind of dispersed because it had been going on for weeks. It starts on Three Kings Day and, just after the 12th night. And so the parties start then, and depending on how many of these crews you're associated with, a lot of the people in New Orleans may walk in 5, 6, 7 parades over the course of the Mardi Gras season. And then, there's constant social events of all kinds. Each one of the characters in Zulu had their own ball. So the week before Mardi Gras, on Saturday night, the week before, the 2 Saturdays before Mardi Gras, we were down in New Orleans at the Governor's Ball. And you're talking about a fully catered affair with, 5,000 people and 150 tables. And, it's just, and all kinds of bands and different second line activities.
Are you in costume at this as well?
I was in a tuxedo.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. It's a formal affair and everybody dresses up. And then the Friday night before Mardi Gras, they have the Zulu Ball, and it takes up the entirety of the New Orleans Convention Center.
Wow.
There are tens of thousands of people there. There are bands and all kinds of parading going on. They introduce the king and queen of the crew, along with all of the different characters have parts in this pageant that goes on from 3 in the afternoon until about 4:30 in the morning.
Well, I know that the gentleman that owns Owen Brennan's here in Memphis was asked to be king of one of the crews.
Yeah.
And he showed me pictures, and you have to buy this costume.
Yes.
That's like a really king's outfit. I mean, it's not some Mr. Lincoln store Halloween costume. This is thousands of dollars just for their costume. And then because they're king, do they have to pay a king's ransom to be the king and to participate?
Generally not. In the bigger crews, those people are some type of local or even national, international celebrity. When you see Endymion, you see Rex, the bigger parades, the people that are generally chosen to be the king and queen on those things are people like Al Hurt.
Sure.
That type of either musician, actors have been chosen, various government officials and things like that. And so it's a big honor to be a part of any of this.
Over the years, and you mentioned Al Hurt, but so many celebrities that had clubs, big restaurateurs like Emerald, people like that. Is there currently a high society of New Orleans famous people? Because there has been over the years, you know, oh, the guy that sings "What a Beautiful World," and you know, and they've always been around, but over the years, people pass away, and
Well, it's it's ever changing. Emerald's son has now been given many culinary awards, and he has kind of taken over his father's place as at Emerald's. But there is M's, which is another like a casual dining restaurant that they have. I think there's 3 or 4 restaurants now in Emerald's
repertoire.
Yeah, and so it's anything from the fine Creole dining of Emerald's original restaurant to a lot lighter kind of more casual thing over at M's.
I mean, obviously there's the historical great restaurants. And Brennan's there. Commander's Palace, Cafe Du Monde for chicory coffee,
Sure,
and beignets. What are some of the most popular new restaurants there for people that may be going this spring?
You know what? That's hard to keep track of.
Because it happens so fast.
Yeah, there are things moving all the time. Go to NOLA.com, NOLA.com, and you can get. There's lots of stuff. It's one of the newspapers down there that sponsors this particular website, and they'll, just like here in Memphis, they have columns about, this place is opened up, here's the reviews, this is what's going on, and that's the best way to track what's new.
Well, and as you said, it always changes, but I always try to go to 1 or 2 of my favorite restaurants every time I'm there, because it's not only that they're always consistent, but it brings back great memories of previous trips. And because in most instances, New Orleans just doesn't change.
There is so much that stays the same, and it changes all the time. So you have both. I mean, I've been going to Galatoire's now for 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
think about that.
You think about that. Actually, 60 years. I think the first time I went in there, I was younger than 10.
You didn't have a driver's license.
No. I couldn't walk around by myself.
I think it was 1972 was the first time I went there, and I'd never been there before, and it was quite an experience. I mean, you may think you know what New Orleans is like, but until you go there, you really don't.
Yeah, it's a very, very special place. Probably the most continental city
in this country.
Here in this country. Yeah,
I agree. If you want to get out of the proper U.S. and even though go to some coastal places like Key West, where it is warmer right now, there are some places you can get and go with you guys from Dive Ventures and the Dive Shop.
Absolutely. We've got Honduras coming up. We're headed down to Curacao. We've got one of my favorites going over into the western part or the eastern part of the Caribbean. That we're going to be going to in the summertime. Tons of places to go. Go out to diveventures.com. It's DIVENTURES.com and hit travel. From there, you can search from any of our 21 locations as to where they're going. These trips are all professionally led, and it's anything from a weekend in Cozumel to in May. I'll be leaving on the 4th of May. Headed to Indonesia. We'll be in Bali for a couple of days, and then we go up country just a little bit and get on a boat for 10 days, and we finish at Komodo with the dragons. And then we fly home. So I'm leaving on the 4th of May. I'll be back on the 20th.
Wow, what a trip.
Oh, it's pretty amazing.
There's still some open slots on that trip.
There is a waiting list.
Okay.
We filled it up here at the first of the year, and so we're really happy about that, but there's always the opportunity that it may open up. But I just found out about 4 openings on a trip to the Philippines, including a liveaboard that only travels about 3 to 4 months out of the year. These tickets, people wait years to get on these boats.
It's almost like a lottery to get on.
Well, you book these things 5-6 years in advance. And like, for instance, this trip that I'm going on, we were supposed to go the year that COVID hit.
Wow.
So it took us that long to get back into the rotation.
So you don't just bump to the next year. You go back to the back of the line.
That's the way it works. Yeah.
Well, and check out Randy Wright's Facebook page. He's a great cook, and you had some recipes that you put together. The gumbo was there, and
Yeah.
And he shows you how to do a lot of these things. He does at home because that takes him back to his favorite place, which is Louisiana.
Back home, yeah.
And but he also teaches you how to do things, and I highly recommend that. And also keeping up with things that are going on at the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures, because there's always something going on, and you learn a lot. And that's how you get into things. And whatever the sport or the hobby is, you start reading about it and learning about it. And that's what really creates it, making it happen.
Sure. If you're interested, we're having Scuba Fest this year, which is the 14th through the 19th of April. Every night we'll have an event. We've got Saturday is going to be our big day for all the divers to come, and we'll have reps in from some of the companies that we have for sale there in terms of gear and so forth. And then on Sunday, we're having New Divers Day. So we're going to have really, really great prices on tri-scubas.
Oh, wow.
And just the whole day from about 1 until 4 is dedicated to people that are interested but have never really put their toe in the water, if you will.
Well, and you can do it from 12, I think, is where you start them.
Yeah.
To my age and older. So that's a great thing about it. You're weightless on the water. So
Sure.
A lot of people that sit there and go, I don't have to walk very far. You just walk to the edge of the dock or the boat.
Or the back of the boat, yeah.
And then you're in. And then they have many ways of getting you in and out. And so it's really the perfect thing for folks that are getting older, I think.
Absolutely. It's great for that. And we start the kids swimming as infants.
Yeah.
So we've got you in the water from the time that you're basically born until it's time for you to step off this ride, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about it. Kids should know how to swim as an infant. And they really do. You throw them in there and watch what happens.
There you go.
There you go. All right, Randy Wright, so good to see you again. And I feel like Mardi Gras is the beginning of the summer, really.
It's a great start on it.
And so many fun things going on, and will throughout the summer. So we'll be keeping up and maybe check in with you on your big trip to Bali and show some people what it's looking like down there.
I'd be glad to do that. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure to be down here. And thanks a bunch.
Well, people love you coming on. We get all kinds of comments about they learn something from you every time we come on. And so that's a plus for you. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We're going to take a break, visit with our other sponsors, and then we're going to check in with Jimmy Ogle. And he's going to be given a big honor tonight from the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. And you'll find out about that right after the break.
Hi, this is Dawn Grader, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union at our new headquarters here in Collierville, Tennessee, off by Hellier Road. We are the proud presenting sponsor of the Earl Farrell For Memphis show and are looking forward to a great 2026 where some of the shows will be hosted from our new headquarters location here in Collierville.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earl Farrell Memphis today. And we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Carey Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25. And I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Mitch Wright.
And I'm his son, Mickey.
And we're the owners of Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And proud sponsors of the Earl Farrell for Memphis show.
We're thankful to be part of the Memphis community. We've been in business for 42 years, taking care of people and loving the people of the Mid-South.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earl Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
He doesn't sweat. He exudes cleanliness. He doesn't wear a hard hat. He wears a halo helmet of hygiene. He doesn't just clean up the mess, he makes it ashamed of itself. He once found a Cheeto from 2003 and gave it a proper burial. His mop water is filtered through the tears of sloppy contractors. He uses Purell the way priests use holy water. His laundry detergent has PTSD. He's banned from construction sites for making everyone else look filthy. His laundry folds itself out of respect. He was voted most likely to disinfect in high school. He showers before, after, and during showers. Even Mr. Clean calls him Sir. He carries wet wipes holstered like pistols. When he sneezes, the room becomes 99.9% pure. He is the cleanest man in the world.
I don't always drink, but when I do, I disinfect the glass first. Stay spotless, my friends.
Stay spotless, my friends. I love that spot. And they will clean whatever you got that needs cleaning. Earlier today, I wanted to have Jimmy Ogle on because tonight at the Hilton out east, he's going to be honored with being inducted into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. That's for people who are amateur sports people and who contribute to sports here in Memphis. And Jimmy Ogle has certainly done that over the years in so many ways, with baseball, with basketball as scorekeeper, a scoreboard guy. With the golf tournament, Danny Thomas golf tournament ends up being the FedEx St. Jude Classic. Been doing that for most of his life. And so tonight he's going to be inducted to that. He was also honored this morning by being on the radio show that Willy Bearden does every Monday, invites guests on. They bring 5 songs that they love. They talk about those songs, and then they play the songs, and it's a great show. You should listen to it. In fact, Randy Wright told me he was listening this morning, too, so a lot of people tune into that. But I wanted to get in and get him with Willie and talking about the honor that's going to be coming tonight. And so here's that interview. Well, difficult technicalities arise every once in a while. We got a software update on our system here, and and if you ever deal with any kind of software updates, you know what we're going through right now. But Jimmy Ogle will be at the Hilton tonight. You can go by there. It's a banquet where they can pay to buy your dinner, and there will be some other people that will be inducted as well. But he did so much for this community, continues to do it. And in fact, he's coming back. His sister's going to be inducted in some other honorary society, and he'll be back then. But he's just done so much over the years, and a great guy, and a big friend of the show. And back when I've had health issues, he's filled in doing the show, and I appreciate that. He's always done a great job. And we'll get the bugs worked out on the video. We'll play it after the fact, and so you get to hear the interview with he and Willy Bearden. All right, we've done some exploring into the rare and often not visited world of techno and Rob figured out what the problem is, and so here it is now. Jimmy Ogle and Willy Bearden.
Every corner, every walk of life, every age, black, white, young, old, rich, poor, coaches, players, various sports. I'm in for a personal contributor category. Was nominated for my work with the Recreation Department of the Memphis Park Commission. And then in the 70s and 80s, church recreation, forming leagues there. And then being involved with the stat crews, behind the scenes clock operator, in the golf tournament, the Danny Thomas Memphis Classic and things like that, at FedEx St. Jude Classic, now one of the top golf tournaments. But back in the 70s, it was a classic deal. And I was doing golf scoring, and I still do that sometimes with my friend Jason Naw with College Tour X. We go to 3 Alabama courses, and we're doing 2 in Florida next year of college kids from around that play D1, D2, D3, NAIA, and junior college golf. We get between 50 and 100 each time. Wow. And they're playing not for their team, they're playing in their off seasons, competitively on great courses. Now, quickly, one kid, it was from Haiti last year, and he goes to Temple, and he has a twin brother, and they were trying to get World Golf Amateur points.
Right.
So he had to qualify for the Haitian Olympic team that'll play for the first time in the 28 Olympics in LA. Oh, and he did real well in our tournament, got some points. There's one golf course in Haiti. Wow. There's 7 in Bulgaria. I know the guy to run 6 of the golf courses in Bulgaria now.
Really?
Yeah, but it takes 2 months to get a T-shirt, shipped over there through customs and everything. But it's just fun things like that, and I don't know why you asked why I was in town.
Well, no, I just want to tell you congratulations because you've been very selfless about all this stuff. I mean, you've done things that you like to do, but things that are really, really good for our community. And I just want to, for Memphis, I'm going to speak for Memphis right now when I say thank you, Jimmy Ogle.
Thank you. Well, it's I got the most out of it. I learned a lot. That's how I learned all the things I did, is by doing these things and meeting these people, like I said. And then people trusted me.
Yeah.
And I can memorize anything and tell the truth.
Right.
Yeah. And gosh, I'm doing some things I'm doing this year here with the Memphis Bar Association and with some judges and lawyers and stuff that I never thought I would do creatively.
Right.
And it's what we need to do.
Somebody told me that they thought you were the Forrest Gump of Memphis. Is that a fair assumption?
I once assessed that I was a cross between Prince Mongo and Richard Halliburton. And John Harkins, the late John Harkins said, let's call that Prince Mongo stuff. I Spirit Jimmy to him, downtown. And I think he might have labeled me Forrest Gump. But these things find me. Sure. Really, I'm out there wandering around for sure, but these things do find me.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great thing. I mean, you've had so much to do. I mean, when you talk to Jimmy, if you know Jimmy, he has touched every part of Memphis culture here. And it's
touched me.
Well, it's touched you, but also, you were at the Pyramid, you were at Mud Island, you were at the
Riverboats, Rock and Soul Museum, Duck Master, Shelby County Historian.
I always forget that you were the Duck Master. I should never
statistics, and when Al Guyberger shot the first 59 ever in the PGA Tour, that was in Memphis on June 8th, 1977. Right. And I made that enlarged scorecard that you see Danny Thomas presenting to him. And I just had that little calligraphy feel to it.
How did you learn to do that calligraphy?
I flunked algebra and English in 9th and 10th grade, and the algebra teacher from St. Mary's had a sailboat 4 he wrote on the chalkboard, not the regular 4. And I noticed how good his capital letter handwriting was.
Right.
So since I missed basketball camp in the summertime going to summer school, I learned how to write like that and you write them in the boxes and you get the markers and hold them a certain way.
And you still do that?
6 times around the southeast. Yeah, three Robert Trent Jones trails and all that. But getting back to tonight, Lynn Alford, Jan Avawater, Dan Richards, those people that have been running this thing for 55 years. Lloyd Sowell started it a long time ago at the Park Commission. And these are the folks we need to thank for keeping the memories alive and the people that submit names in all the categories. Yeah. There's plenty more to go. Yeah. And our sports history, more than anything, has brought this community together in many ways. Yeah. Just like what Larry Finch did in the '69. The black community didn't want him to go to Memphis State because they didn't take Bobby Bingo Smith. Dr. King had been assassinated. 107 black students trying to form the Black Student Association arrested in Dr. Humphrey's city there. I went to high school with Hunter at the same time because they wouldn't let Adam Clayton Powell talk there as they formed, but they let Led Zeppelin play in the field house, a little young Led Zeppelin. But Finch came for his hometown and for Orange Mound, the great Orange Mound. We could talk about Orange Mound forever. We got to do another song.
Okay, what do we got next?
Where's my list?
So that apparently is our show for today because that's it.